In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to use a template from VistaPrint to design your own mask and print it out. And I'm going to walk you through all the different parts on there. So let's go find VistaPrint. And we're going to go ahead and Google it. There it is. VistaPrint.com. Masks. Masks by VistaPrint. These look pretty cool. I haven't had one printed yet. I have a couple designs I've already done, and I'm going to have those printed soon. They look good. They look nice. They have a really good presentation. And so let's go ahead and design our own. Where do we do that? There's a mask. I just want to make my own mask. I guess shop masks. There we go. How do we make our own? Custom. Great. We design it for you? No. Design it yourself? Yes! However, we're pro, so let's get the template. So we're going to download that template. And here's the download link here. When you're done, this is actually where you upload it as well. So you'll upload that file. That'll be probably some sort of flattened JPEG, whatnot. So we're going to download that template and open that up. And inside there, you're going to see that they give us two files. They give us Adobe Illustrator file and a PSD file. And I'm going to be demoing how to do this in Photoshop. So we're going to open the PSD file. So we're going to double click that. And that's going to open in Photoshop. And there we go. Now we have our awesome file in Photoshop. And let's go ahead and let's look at what's inside this file. So here's our layers panel over here. And we see that they have something for our artwork to go into. It looks like a white, just a white layer with a white mask on it. When I say mask, I don't mean mask like mask that we're designing. Mask as in they're masking. There's a way to mask layers in Photoshop that involves black and white. So we won't get into that right now, but essentially painting with black or white on a mask will show or reveal that thing, depending on what you're doing. We're not even going to use this. I'm going to delete that because that's just confusing right now. But let's say our artwork is going to go in here. So here's our guides. Let's look at the guides. For right now, for our artwork, I'm just going to leave it blank and transparent. And when you're transparent in Photoshop, it tells you with these sort of checkerboard black and gray things going on here. So here's our guides. Let's look at these individually. So we have some options. Looks like on the outside, it starts with red, and they're calling that bleeds. Ooh, I like that they used red. Bleed, red, blood, it's bleeding. Think of like when something, if you get blood on like cloth, it'll sort of bleed out and expand, right? That's kind of what bleed means. The artwork we put in here, we want it to bleed past where they cut the material. And that's so when they cut that material, we see all the artwork that we want to. We don't want any blank spots being left that doesn't have artwork. So that's what bleed means. That means you want your artwork, your coloring, your photo, whatever it is, to go to that red line or past it, right? We want to go past it. We'll say go to that red line because that means that's where the bleed goes to. Now that bleed's going to get cut off. Where does it get cut off at? It gets cut off at the cut. So that blue line, that blue outline, that represents where that dye that they have that cuts the material after it's printed. So let's say it's cloth that's been dye sublimated. It's going to get cut. So they're going to have a die cut, a metal thing that just goes and cuts where that blue is. So that means everything outside that blue goes away. So part of that bleed, which is the reason we have it there, gets cut off. But now we know that when that blue gets cut and we have our artwork past that blue to that red, we know every part that gets cut out has artwork color on it. However, it's not necessarily going to be seen, right? So inside that we have the fold. That's the yellow line. So that fold line, that represents, I think, where the material is folded in on itself when they stitch the outside. It might be that, but it's also that they add a sort of a black liner, a black material liner. It looks like a really robust black liner to the outside of the mask. And we can see that on here when we look at their mask. Yeah, so you see this black outline material. That's essentially the fold. The fold's going to go to that, and that's where it's going to get stitched. And I think all of the masks on VistaPrint have this black outline. I don't think there's a way to change that. So that's where they sew in the straps that go behind your head and hold it to your head. Or I think these go over the ear, right? And I prefer the ear stuff because it's really easy to just throw that on. Pro tip, get something to connect your two little ear straps that goes behind your neck. So when you take it off, it just hangs around your neck. That's for another video. So let's jump back into here. So that's the fold. The fold is where the material gets folded back in on itself, and then also that black material that is the outline gets stitched. And so essentially that means everything outside of the yellow doesn't really get seen ever. We still need it there, right? Because we want that. We want to show all of our artwork on our finished product. So we still need something there. It could be color, could be part of your design, as long as it's overlapping that. Now, when they do that fold, when they do that stitching, it's gonna vary every time they do it. So that's why they have the safe margin. That green area, that's what we know is safe. So if you have important stuff that must be seen, like text or like maybe a story or a poem, let's say your mask is a cool poem about suffocating. Ooh, that's not cool. You get it though, right? It's a mask. Some people can't breathe in them. Yeah, so that green area is safe. So we know anything that has to be seen in red should be in there. And that's because when they sew it and when they cut that fold on, it's going to vary a little bit. So they've got a little wiggle room. So that's safe area. So if you see, there's two different areas here. You've got this green area here. Let's just paint that on with green. So you've got this green area here. I wonder if I can just sort of fill that with a paint bucket. No. Is that down here? Yeah, that's down here. So maybe I can do that. Yeah, so see this green area, that's the safe area. There's two of them. There's this top part. So I think this part up here is where it gets stitched. So I think this gets stitched here to here. And this folds over, this comes this way, and this comes this way, and they come together in the middle, and that becomes the nose part that goes over your nose. And then down under here, that's the part that goes under the chin. And we can see that right here. Yeah, there's like a little stitch here. That's the part under the chin. So let's jump back to this. I assume there's a stitch in the middle. It's possible this is the nose here. I'm not sure. No, it definitely looks like it folds over on itself and gets stitched. So I think let's go try and find a front version. Yeah, I can see the stitch right there. There's a stitch right in the middle. Yeah, so that part gets stitched together. So this is going to be a tricky part. If you want specific artwork that's right on the nose that needs to connect, you're going to have to make sure that those connect in an interesting way where it could wiggle a little bit and still not be terrible. And that's going to depend on what your design is. So we're gonna design something right now. I'm gonna do just sort of I'm gonna do a digital, like a cool digital pixelated pixel art. And the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna design something at the pixel level to begin with. So I'm gonna call this pixels, pixel. And I'm going to grab my pencil tool, and I want this to be 1 pixel in size, smoothing 0. Great. So now it's just pixels, right? So I'm going to use this to draw my pixel art. And I'm just going to do kind of a random, I'm going to do Minecraft. Yeah. So what I can do, since I'm working way down here, very tiny, I'm going to grab a version of this guide, and I'm going to make it really tiny so I can actually design in pixels. And then I'm going to show you how to make that bigger. Now you don't have to design your mask in pixels. That's just the artwork I'm going to do. It's kind of what I want to do for right now. So I'm going to bring this down to the size where I know those pixels are going to be seen as pixels. So I want it to be really pixelated. So let's say that's my size. Okay, so that's my new template that I'm designing with. And I'm going to shrink that down just so I can see the size. Okay, so pixels. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do nice Minecraft green, some pixels here, and then, oops. Yeah, I should have just erased that, and I'm going to make sure I go over where the bleed is, so we want it to be enough space there. And then do I want green down here, or should I have it be like dirt? Yeah, let's go with dirt. Because Minecraft, there's dirt underneath the grass. In fact, I'll go just a little bit of dirt down here. And then this is all dirt. I guess I could make it like bedrock, huh? That's going to be hard to see though. And then to really make it like grass, I'm going to add some darker points. I can hide my overlay for now. A couple of darker pieces of grass. We want it to make it look like that this grass sort of varies in lightness and has like a pixelated look to it. There we go. And I'm going to do the same for the brown. I'm going to do some darks and lights to make it look like it's dirt. And now add some lights in there. Not too light, but just enough for a little pixel art feel. Kind of looks like a weird beard. This may be a strange mask to wear. So now let's do, I think, blue sky. So we'll do like a nice blue sky, Minecraft blue. And this is just me creating my artwork that's going to go in there. So this will be a pixel-based thing. And then I'll show you how that works with the actual mask. So I'm going to make sure to cover up all the parts that are going to have the bleed. Again, I'm using this layer. This is my, call it tiny guides for my pixel-based mask design. Okay. Yep, I did just draw on the tiny guides. I shouldn't have done that. Okay. And then now we can, well, let's add some clouds. How am I going to do clouds? Maybe I'll reduce the opacity of my brush. And we'll draw some clouds. I'm going to be very gentle with these clouds. Maybe I'll do some more clouds that are, as they get closer to the horizon, I'll make them smaller to sort of create a perspective. And then since I'm using an opacity, I can go back in and do another layer that's a little more white to add some depth to my clouds. Do these look like clouds? Kind of. This looks more like a Super Mario World than Minecraft, but you know, what's the difference? Okay, so what do we need now? I mean, I think we got to have a tree. Yeah, I think we need to have a tree. So let's just do like one, like a Minecraft tree. We'll do one there. We'll do one over here. And let's grab one of these greens. And let's put the opacity back up so that we can get actual green. I think I want it to be a little more yellow-green. There we go. And then there we go. There's a couple of trees. Maybe there's like a river? No, I think trees are fine. What else would it need? I don't, if I add too much now, it's probably not going to look very good. So I think that's good enough for like a little bit of a pixel art. And that's just something for us to work with. You can get more creative and add more if you want, if you're going to do like a pixel art thing. I don't want to spend too much time on the actual design of this. So I'm going to grab that. So now I have my artwork. I'm going to duplicate that just in case I want to use it again later. Or as I make it bigger. And it doesn't work, I want it to. So I'm doing nearest neighbor as I increase this. So the interpolation is bicubic sharper. So essentially that's like, I'm going to expand these pixels. And when I'm done, it's going to look like pixels. And I'm going to do it in a way where this makes sure that it overlaps my actual design. And I need to do that. A little bit bigger. And boom. See, that's not what I wanted actually. What I want it to be perfectly sharp. Nearest neighbor. Is that what does it? Yeah, you want nearest neighbor. So nearest neighbor, and that will prevent the smoothing. So you saw that the smoothing that was happening, it was trying to blend the thing as I increased those pixels to be a whole lot more pixels, and that's not good. We want our pixels to stay pixels because that's kind of the point of my design here, is that it's pixels and it's staying pixels. There we go. Now if we hide my guide, whoa. Let's hide all the guides. Yeah, there's my design. And let's go ahead and look at, specifically, I'm going to hide my artwork. Let's drag that actually into the artwork. Okay. I'm going to hide the artwork. And let's grab two things. I'm going to grab the bleed. So I'm going to use my magic wand. I'm going to grab that bleed, and I'm going to put that over in my artwork. I'm going to call that bleed. I think they could have done a much better job of how they structured their document here. Let's see what the size they use is. Yeah, 300 resolution. That's good. 300 pixels per inch. That's good. And then that's the actual size, I assume, of the mask when it gets printed. You could probably print these out on a piece of paper and cut it out and see how it fits and looks on your face before you order it. So I'm also going to grab the green area. Oh no, I made that one thing. That's okay. And we'll call this safe. I'm going to hide those guides. And I'm going to turn on the artwork. And now we can see the parts that are safe. This. In fact, I'm going to use the pen tool to actually create a different guide so I can see what is actually safe without it being overlaid. So I'm just going to do this real quick. And fill, we're going to say none. And there we go. That's my safe. That's my safe area. And then we'll add something to that. Let's do this. There. That's basically our safe area. And that's a little easier for us to see. So here's our bleed, the red. So we know that all gets cut. So maybe we want to have, we want that all to be filled in with artwork. So I'm just going to use the stamp tool to bring in that. I'm going to try and stick to my pixel grid. This would have been better to have done earlier so that we don't ruin anything. I don't think any of these are going to be shown, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to make it so it's filled in just in case. And then maybe this last pixel over here, let's just do the brown right there. Again, I don't think that any of that's going to be shown, but we do want to make sure that we cover everything. And there we go. That's going to be my printed artwork. Now we can see it's a bit of an issue with the trees getting cut off. You're not going to see much of that. So one thing you might do, and I'm going to do that, is I'm going to bring this in so that we see more of what I'm really trying to show here. And that is the trees, the grass, the dirt. And then what I can do is just quickly fill in some of this stuff. That bleed isn't going to be shown in any of the final design, but we want to make sure that it's not. We don't want any blank white areas in our print. So let's make sure we fill all that in. And again, since this is pixel based, it would make a lot more sense to have done this when I was working in pixels, but I think this gets the point across that you want this all to be filled in. So now we're assuring ourselves that everything has content when it gets printed and cut out. And now we can go back and look at their guides, and we can see, okay, so the bleed, yeah, we made it to the bleed. We're filling that in. Okay, the cut is definitely filled in. And then now the fold, that's the important part, right? That yellow part, which is really close to our black line. So is there anything in that fold that might be shown that's not how we want to show it? The answer for this is yes. You can see right here, there's some parts where it's not pixelated. We want those to definitely be pixelated. And this is blank right here. We definitely want that to not be blank. So I would probably go back and redo this with pixels to make it perfect. I'm not actually going to print this mask, but if I were, I would fix that because we know that that yellow part could be shown. Probably will be shown. You could almost say that yellow part, that yellow line for the fold is going to be, everything in there is going to be shown for sure. You're just not really sure how much wiggle there's going to be with that. That's why they have that safe space, which is this black one. So once that's done, we're just going to hide all of our layers of our guides. And I'm going to make sure this whole thing has color. And I'm going to make it blue. And this is actually going to be our final file that we send out. So we're going to go File, Export. Export as... What is the file type of this? This is CMYK. Okay. So File, Export. Export as... We're going to do JPEG. And we're going to say 80%. And export and put that on the desktop. We'll call it Minecraft. Minecraft mask. And that's the file. That's the deliverable, right? That's the end file. Your file naming conventions may be different depending on where you're delivering it to, or how you save your files and how you organize them. Essentially, you would upload that here. I'm going to do that now. And give us notes on color or placement. Use template. Or built to template specs. Built to your provided template specs. Type in your name, etc., and then I think you can order it. I'm not sure if they give you an example of what it's going to look like or not. But that's basically it. Your mask will be printed and cut, and it should look kind of cool.